Hey there, listeners. Welcome to Shit That Goes Under Our Heads, the podcast where we normalize conversations around mental health.
That's right. I'm Dirty Skittles, and alongside my amazing co-host, Rex, we are here to share stories and tips from our incredible guests.
Each episode, we deep dive into struggles and triumphs of mental health, offering practical advice and heartfelt support.
Because no one should feel alone in their journey. Join us as we break the stigma and build a community of understanding and compassion.
Tune in and let's start talking about the shit that goes on in our heads. Three, two, one. Welcome back to another episode of Shit That Goes On in Our Heads. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Dirty Skittles. And this is our season 12 ender. What the hell?
Almost a teenager.
Oh, yeah. Like, what? Don't wait. What do you have? Like one more year?
Yeah,
next season will be teenagers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Technically. Where were you when you were 13?
Probably trying to stay out of trouble. Cowering in a corner. Don't yell at me anymore.
Oh, that made me feel sad.
Or it could be, let's see, 13. What was I doing at 13? I was probably playing softball somewhere.
Okay. I can see that. Do you have photos in your uniform?
Probably I'll have to dig through some boxes, which would require me to clean my room. And that shit's not going to happen anytime soon. Just not going to happen.
I don't know what to say to that.
It's in a box. I also have like these slides. So like when my parents passed away, they had all these photos on slides. So I'd have to go through the slides and see if any of them were that I could convert into a photo.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, my husband, Bizzle, is currently converting film to electronic photos now. So we have this album that rotates on our living room television of his family growing up. They're really cool photos. Shout out to Big V. I want to print some because her family was like ranchers. They did like horse shows and shit. Yeah. We got some really cool fucking old photos.
That's cool. Kind of cool. I bet if I was to go through the slides and maybe get like, they have those, slide projectors that you can like view the slides.
Yep.
I definitely want to do that. I mean, I have boxes. And they're like probably 18 inches long, about an inch and a half, 2 inches tall. And it's just rows and rows and rows of these slides.
Wow.
Okay. And yes, I am dating myself. Okay. Because that's right. I am the ripe old age of 62 now.
26. Flip them.
Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
Let's say 62 physically, 26 mentally.
And my body will tell you I am 2 million years old on a daily basis.
It's all that softball.
Dude, you know what? Like nobody told me when I was a kid, like you need to take better care of your body because when you turn 60, it's all gonna fucking hurt. Okay, they don't tell you that.
Yeah, I didn't get the take care of your body. I got the don't eat that. One day, it's gonna just stick.
There's that like Dirty Skittles, like. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have picked up that Skittle off the floor because now I have this weird disease.
I would still do that today.
I'm sure you would. But did the 30-second rule like go down to like 10 seconds now?
It might have increased if I'm being honest. It went 10 seconds the opposite way. So now it's about 40 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, but like where, if it was to like fall at home, would you pick it up quicker there?
Depends. Is it sticky? If it falls, is it sticky? If so, where did it fall? On a carpet? On a floor?
I'm calling your mom.
She was just here. She cleaned. We're good. I'll let that shit sit for a solid minute now.
Okay, but if they fell out of your pocket and let's say you're at like a Target.
Yeah.
Are you still going to pick that up?
No.
Hey,
No. Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out if this is something that we would pick up or not.
Got you. At home, I'm picking it up. Doesn't matter what room it's in. If it falls on the floor, picking that shit up.
Okay.
Target, I draw the line.
All right. That makes me feel a tiny bit better. Wow. I'm learning new things about you like I have never learned in my entire life.
I have side quested you from what we gathered here today for to talk about
gathered here today. Dirty Skittles is to no, I'm not going there. I am not going there. Not going there. What is wrong with you?
I'm just honest, I'm just an honest person.
You are an honest person, but you're kind of scaring me. But you know what? It's going to be a great episode because, we advertised this was an Ask Us Anything episode, and we actually got a question from a listener.
Okay, and I got some too.
You got some too? Beautiful. So the question I got, and this is from Tabitha, and she says, since I'm new to this healing journey, and she's learning many things, one of the things that she struggles with is making the most of living for today. What are some things that we do or have done for ourselves?
Oh, I feel you, Tabitha. When I started, I say when I started therapy, but the truth is this was like the second or third therapist, but this was the one that stuck. So for all intents purposes, when I started therapy, I am still a very anxious person. I just know how to manage it a little bit better. But at that time I didn't. Girl, I was a tornado thinking about what I didn't do, what I need to do, what I should be doing. Like it was all of the things and none of those applied to like the now, right? Like it was like, oh my God, like I would have Halloween planned out months and months in advance, right? Like I just needed to know all of the things and work out all of the things. And it didn't just apply to holidays, it applied to like anything in life. I am an anxious person. And in therapy, we talked about how I would feel like I was watching my life through as a movie. Like I wasn't actually in the movie. I was watching me live and not really being present there because I was so consumed with stuff that happened in the past, stuff that hadn't happened yet, right? Like I was almost like outside of my body. And sadly, I was like that for a really long time. Like I didn't know that there was another way to live until I was in my 40s. And that's sad. But my therapist at that time, to get me to focus on the now, I remember telling you this, you guys. I still kind of chuckle to this idea, but the first thing that she did was tell me, you're going to set a 30-minute timer. And I like art. I like music. That's how I express my emotions. So set a 30-minute timer. I had an easel. I had paint. I had brushes. And she said, you're going to paint. The thing is, you can't prep what you're going to paint. So like, don't do research. Don't find a picture to recreate. Just sit there, put music on if you need to. If like your thing is a cup of tea, whatever you need to do to get the happiest you can be, but set the timer and paint. And I immediately spiraled. What am I going to paint? What if it looks like shit? What am I going to do? Like I couldn't, just the thought of it terrified me. But I told my husband and my son, okay, mom has to do this exercise for 30 minutes. I'm going to sit at this table. Don't bug me. Don't ask me what I'm doing. Don't even look over here. Just know that I'm doing something I'm supposed to. And I had the best fucking time with myself, laughing at myself. I was no longer taking myself so seriously. It didn't matter what I was painting. It was so freeing to just be in that moment and not worry or be anxious about anything else. So that's still something that I do to this day. I try to have 30 minutes, don't prep, don't plan, don't think about, after this 30 minutes is up, I have to do laundry. Like, no, just have your 30 minutes and be a kid and have fun and be present in that moment. And I think there's something to that because it kind of carries on outside of that 30 minutes. You're learning to just breathe a little and like be present in the moment.
I remember that you and I did that exercise when we did our live.
Mm-hmm.
So you gave me a paintbrush, you gave me some paints and a blank easel, and you set the timer for 30 minutes, and we painted.
Mm-hmm.
And I painted this cute little scene. I think we still have pictures of that. But you're right. By doing that, like it took me out of my own head and allowed me to like be a kid again. Because it made my brain just focus on that one thing and not all the other things that go in my head. So like for me, like when I went into therapy, I was way fucked up by the time I got to therapy. Yeah, it was past my time. And by the time I hit my third therapist, and it was in a really short period of time, like it was less than a month that I was in with my third therapist. But she taught me about boundaries and the power of saying no and to find joy at least in one thing every single day. So for me at the time, I was 59 and a half when that happened. And I'd never, I don't remember setting boundaries because like nobody had ever taught me how to do it. But by setting boundaries and by being able to put my shield up a little faster, being a little bit more proactive than reactive, I started to feel better. And it's still something I practice every day now. I'm telling you, the power of no is amazing.
Yeah.
But I also like during the summertime and sometimes in the wintertime, I'll get outside. Getting outside, it really helps me clear my head, makes me feel grounded. And you don't have to feel like you have to fix everything in one day. Like whatever helps you get to that next minute or that next hour or that next day, just know that like every little step will help clear the mental messiness out of your head. I mean, it's not a quick fix, but focusing on something other than all the other crap that's going on in your head, focus on one thing and have it be something that brings you joy. And you'll start to notice that connection and like do it every day for like 30 days, because once you start doing it for 30 days, now it becomes a habit. And it can be any time during the day. Like the other thing I do too now is when I first wake up, I watch a 20-minute funny video. Could be anything. Goats, could be squirrels, could be chickens. Right now it's raccoons. Don't ask me why. I know they're gross little animals, but they're cute when they're little.
They're cute.
They're cute when they're little. And they're cute when they're like laying in people's houses. But then I follow that with a gratitude practice, being grateful for what I have. And there's a lot of science between gratefulness practice and how it can affect your physical and mental health. So that's what I've got. But Tabitha, great question. Great question.
Yeah. Yeah. Let us know, Tabitha, in the future if you use any of these and how it's worked for you.
So what else do you got for me, Skittles?
Okay. What is one of the happiest moments you've had on our podcast?
Oh, there's been several. The happiest, I have a happy moment every time we record, and we've recorded now for like 2.5 years. It's when you make me laugh. And you do that a lot, but a lot of times you do it without even thinking that it's going to make me laugh. But laughter is such a natural healer. Mm-hmm. And what's great about the podcast is, yes, we interject a little laughter into even really hard subjects, but it makes it easier to digest. And so your laughter and making me laugh is like the best thing. So what's yours?
I think there's 2 memories that play in my head from time to time. And sadly, none of them ever made it to air. Our very first episode, the very first time we sat down with mics, literally the debauchery of it all. It was literally my favorite moment. Because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Like, we were just like, let's just do this and see what happens. And the swears and the cuss words, and were there cocktails? I don't remember, but it was a really good time. And it was a way to like get the jitters out. And then I feel like we kind of figured it out after that. And every season we're figuring out something more about how to make it better and things to change, but also like how to still be crazy with our attitudes and shit.
Like moving to a new recording platform.
Right. So that one plays in my mind. And then you and I joke about this guest when we're just kind of being rude. He wasn't a guest, actually. I'm sorry. We joke about a pre-interview. Do you remember?
Cowboy Bob.
Yeah. So that makes me laugh because it was this moment, you guys, you have to understand. I used to do the pre-interviews with G-Rex, and I like to think of myself by nature just very inquisitive. Doesn't matter how outlandish the story is or how calm it is in nature. I just want to know what I want to know. So I'll ask questions. And somewhere along the lines of this pre-interview, I remember getting in my head thinking like, yeah, this one's not going to work. You know, it's just the vibe is questionable. You know, there's some questionable content here happening. But I was so curious to see like, what is this person thinking or how does their brain work? And so I'm asking questions because I'm just curious. And I remember looking up at the camera, seeing G-Rex like, oh, if looks could kill.
It was like really like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, we all have those moments like when we work, you know, that people will say something in a meeting and like, I can't hide my expressions. Okay. I can't. And I was trying to like really like smooth things out with Dirty Skittles and Cowboy Bob. That's not really his name, but
that's just what we call him.
That's just what we call him, Cowboy Bob.
Yeah.
But oh my God, we got off that call and we were both like crying. Laughing. But we are crying, laughing, but we do the pre-interviews for a reason, right? Yeah. Because when we record 4 to 7 episodes one Saturday a month. And like nobody got time for that. Like it was the wildest conversation ever.
Yeah.
And since then I've only had to do that like maybe 3 other times where we declined a guest.
Because we want to make sure whoever it is aligns with our values and like who we are as individuals. And this person was completely
off the rocker. Yeah. Literally. And if you guys know us, like we're a little off our rocker sometimes, but completely off the rocker.
Yeah.
And you know, we want to make sure that, you know, you guys get as much from it as we do. And like we learn something in every episode. We learn something about ourselves. We learn something about our guests. We learn about new tips and tricks that we never knew. And so we want to make sure that we keep giving you guys value.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Do you have any regrets?
Oh, I have so many. Can you give me a time frame?
When you were 13. No, just kidding. From 13 to 16. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, in like the last 3 years, let's say.
My biggest regret, and I will say this forever and ever, my biggest regret is that I didn't open up sooner. I wore my mask for so long and I couldn't tell anybody what was going on because I didn't understand it. But I didn't ask for help soon enough. And then I ended up, you know, Christmas Day 2022, I was 20 minutes from taking my life. So that's my biggest regret.
How can that be a regret though? Like I think that's part of your journey. Like,
it is part of my journey, but I felt bad because number one, I didn't understand what was going on in my own body, in my own head, but like I didn't really ask for help either. I saw the slow decline, but I don't think anybody else saw the slow decline because I kept my mask on. I think my biggest regret was not taking that mask off and having you guys see me for what was really going on.
Yeah. Yeah, but I learned from your experience, like when I was going through that dark
so dark
period. I remember knowing you have to say it out loud. You have to say it out loud how you're feeling when you're not feeling okay.
Yep.
Because that silence,
it can kill you.
That would have fucked me up. Yeah. Yeah. So I hate that you regret that. It was part of your journey and I learned from it. And I probably wouldn't have.
I hope it's a lesson that other people learn too. Like if you have your mask on, please just take it off. Let people see you for how you really are feeling. It helps remove the shame and the stigma, and you're not weak for asking for help. So what's your biggest regret?
Ooh, I'm good at asking the questions. I'm not good at answering them.
Yeah, I know you are.
What's my biggest regret? Well, I try really hard not to regret stuff.
Okay.
Because I do try really hard to give myself grace. And when I'm not happy about maybe a decision I made, I try to remind myself I did the best I could with what I had at the moment. And that's kind of been my motto. Like I did the best I could with what I had at the moment. Even getting through some of the most difficult moments of my life, you don't know what you don't know, and you kind of do your best. So as long as I'm coming at it with a pure heart and pure intentions, if I make a mistake, it's okay. I did my best.
You did your best. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for taking care of you.
Thanks. Okay. What has been the biggest challenge we have faced recording the podcast? Like, and this could mean anything, like the technicality of it, releasing of it, all of it. Uh-oh.
I'm going to say for right now, like the biggest challenge we've had, we moved away from Zoom and decided to go to Riverside for recording. So I'm not sure if y'all know this, but we have our calendar booked out until next year. And so when you book to record on the podcast, you get a link, you get a Zoom link. So I have to go through 13 months. Actually, it's about 16 months of emails and change the links on every single one of those invites. So that to me has been a challenge. And just some of the technical challenges. Calendar management is a nightmare. It is a complete nightmare, but I wouldn't change it because I'm learning new tools every day. And yes, I try to do this via AI. AI is not quite that advanced yet. So it is open each one, change the link, and we're good. What about you?
It was early on learning balance. Yeah, because we hit it hard out the gate. And it started to interfere a lot. And I'm sure other podcasters go through the same thing, but it started to consume every evening that I had available. So then my attention to being a wife, to being a mom, to being just a human being was shorter and shorter and shorter. And we really struggled with that. Like I remember at one point thinking like, oh no, I don't think I can do this anymore. And because you and I talked about it. And that was when we decided the 1 day a month recording schedule, because I couldn't sacrifice the other part of myself,
And that's fine. It actually works out better for us. And now that we've moved to 2 episodes a week, even our guests are noticing that their episodes are coming out a little quicker. And, for me, I don't let it consume me. I have it marked on my calendar of like what days I'm going to work on podcast stuff, what days I'm going to work on my business stuff, what days I'm going to work on my personal stuff. And I love that. And I love that we were able to like figure out those kinks and there was no drama, right?
Yeah.
Like we figured it out.
Yeah. And I think that's key because that kind of rolls into the next question is what advice would we give to anyone who is either starting a podcast or wanting to start a podcast? And just to kind of tackle onto that last sentence that you said, I think that's key is communicating. Like if you are co-hosting with somebody, making sure those lines of communication are open and that there isn't like you're not holding back on anything, that you're honest, like whatever you're struggling with.
Yeah. Like we had a recent issue where, we had a recording day set up for August and I had to reach out to the guests so we could move to a following weekend. And guests were super excited because at this point, they've waited, in some cases, almost 8 months to get onto the podcast, which I still think is fucking wild.
Yeah.
So weird in so many different lovely ways. But my advice mirrors yours. Communication is key. It really is. Don't do it to burn yourself out because for us, it's a passion project. It's never about making money. But, being flexible because you know what? Life can get super lifey sometimes and it gets in the way. And, be honest with like how you're feeling with your co-host or how you're feeling with a guest. The other thing is if you recorded an episode and you don't feel like it's going to be a good fit for your audience, don't be fearful of not airing it.
Right. Yeah. It's got to align with, maybe that's the other bit of advice. Make sure whatever you're doing, you're not compromising the heart of it, If the purpose of it is this, make sure that you stick true to what it is.
And do a little pre-planning. And if you get super busy and super backed up, like, I don't know, shit that goes on in our heads, be cognizant, like work with your co-host, make sure that like the dates that you planned out for the following year are okay. Like for us, we try to go with the first weekend of every month. In some cases that doesn't work because of like July 4th, Labor Day weekend, things like that. But that can make things kind of crazy. But the other thing is have fun. And just remember that, you don't have to be perfect. Pick up a mic, have a plan, share your passion. There's 4.3 million podcasts out there.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much, but have fun with it. I mean, we still have fun.
Yeah, we do. I have 2 more questions. Do you want to keep rolling?
Okay. Yeah, keep going. I want to hear them.
What's your favorite thing that you do today to unwind?
Oh, I have so many. so many. All right. I have a VR headset. And so at night before I go to sleep, I have a meditation app on there. And it's kind of cool. So I take a couple of gummies to go to sleep at night. And sometimes they kick in a little bit while I'm doing the VR headset. And so it's like a kaleidoscope. But like I'll watch it for like 15 minutes and then I go straight to sleep. That helps me get out of my head, helps me get a good night's sleep. The other thing is I try to get outside as much as I can, especially now. In the wintertime, I don't get to get out very often because it's cold and I have to put on a whole lot more clothes than I want to. But getting outside of my head and spending time with my wife and laughing.
And fishing.
When we can, when the air quality index is not horrible. What about you?
I have a few fun hobbies that I've picked up, but my tried and true classic is I recently downloaded a video game that, let me give you, there are 2 games in my life that have completely taken over and consumed me. And this is one of them. Okay. Like to the point where like Dirty Skittles in her 20s would call out of work to play this game. Well, I downloaded it again because I'm like, it's been a while. Why not? I have spent 2 days playing this game. And now I know tomorrow we're going back to work. So I love that because I just like it. It's got me. That's my jam.
What's the game?
It is called Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay.
And I'm playing it on PlayStation right now. So
beautiful.
It's wonderful. I love it. It's everything. And I am newly into kind of a fun little passion project. Like I like to go antiquing. Like I like to go to antique stores. I like to dive and dig and find like a cool thing. And I found I like military stuff because I come from a long line of vets, right? Like that's been a part of me forever. But I found this World War I soldier's love letters to his sweetheart. And I am so consumed by this because it's a funny story, like how I found them. And I was texting for my friends that know me. I love romance books and spicy novels and reading and like all that. So when I found these letters, I bought like 2 because I was like, what if I don't like them? Like I have no idea what a soldier is saying to a sweetheart, but I'm going to get it. I was obsessed. I was like, okay, Patrick and Gladys, where does this end? Went back, bought all of them. I have them all now. And fast forward, we're taking a trip to DC in September, and I'm bringing them with me to donate to the Library of Congress and their Veteran History Project. So before all that, I need to turn these into like a little keepsake book because once I donate them, I don't have them anymore. And I want to have a memory of this. But I love that. Like I'm so excited about it.
That is the coolest thing ever. I love your little passion projects. Yeah. I love them.
They consume me. they become everything.
Become everything.
Okay, last question. What's one guest who has stuck with us? Is there anybody that like you think about their story?
Yep, Bookie. I love me some Bookie. She gave me some life lessons that I still live by every single day.
Yeah.
She interviewed with us a month before she passed away. And here was a woman who had terminal breast cancer. And God, she was just so full of life. And I just loved her. But like all our guests stick with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of them.
I would add to that. Like I remember recording that and like, you just kind of know there's something special there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember leaving that thinking like, wow, this is like, if I could pinpoint like a moment that turned stuff around for us in terms of the podcast, it was that episode.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like after that, it felt like she never left, like it just.
I swear she's with us every time we record.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the cool things that have happened since then. And like we've had all the guests we've had on, I loved. Like I've learned something in every single episode.
Yeah. I got to fangirl, meeting people that were somebody you look up to, but like never get to talk to. So when we recorded with Viv, I was, oh my gosh, that was like, she was Oprah for me. That was my Oprah.
That was your Oprah?
Yeah.
But that's a good Oprah to have. And like Viv, I mean, she was just so gracious and so, willing to talk to us. My, other favorites are like Pez and like Honey Badger and when Jack and Brad came on. But like also all the authors and like all the therapists that have come on, love me some Bonnie, love me some Kate. They've been fantastic. And they are always coming on to our social media posts and just pumping us up every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super proud of what we do. And I'm super proud of what we do. I think we're making a huge difference in the world and, one conversation at a time.
Love that.
I love all of that. But like, I want to talk about a little bit about the guests that we had on this season because we had some amazing stories. We had some really hard things that we talked about. And I don't know, I kind of left thinking about all the things that, you and I have dealt with over the last 2.5 years, right? Like burnout and depression and anxiety. And for me, suicide ideation, and how fucking fortunate we are that we get to do this.
I know. It's true. This season was, it happens every season. There's like a theme, like a thread that goes through every episode, and somehow it ties to us in whatever we're going through. And this season was no different. We started off with Kate, and I wish I could have came up with a better segue for this, because when I was talking about what we do in our free time and like how we're spending time just being present and doing what we want, I remember in that episode understanding that sometimes it's difficult for me to not feel guilty for taking time for myself and doing the things that make me feel better. And I learned
and she just reaffirmed everything I know now about boundary setting, and how we really talked about like the brain heart connection. And as we were talking to her, I was like, damn, it really made sense. And she was just so comfortable to talk to, and she's just smart and funny. And she's just one of our biggest supporters, and just love having her on.
I did too. Then we had Tim.
What a great story. That was Tim came to me on LinkedIn. I had done a podcast interview on the Chris Voss show. And he saw that interview and, watched it like 2 or 3 times. And then he reached out to me on LinkedIn. And he said he had never reached out to anybody about mental health. And he was really scared and like fangirling. And I'm like, don't fangirl over me. I'm just a normal girl. But he wanted to talk about men's mental health. And I thought, damn, this is where we're at now. And he was just so raw and honest. And, he is really trying to change the mindsets of coaches, that they need to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
As much as they take care of their players.
Yeah, I would call Tim was my heart this season. I remember sitting across from him, and we were doing the interview, and I don't remember the exact question I asked, but I remember his answer. And I just remember thinking like, wow, this individual really tied a lot of who he was into what he was doing, his profession, so to speak. And I remember thinking like, God, I really hope he knows he's more than that, right? Like he is more than that profession. And then starting to wonder like, wow, what was it like for him in that mindset of being a coach, being there and doing that. And then now you have to be there for yourself. You have to show up for yourself. And I just found that very interesting, very intriguing. Like I wish I could dive more into the psychology, of a man being a coach, and then coming to grips with now that that's done, now what?
Yeah, now what? And, figuring out like what his next steps are, and, being a better dad and being a better husband and just being a better leader, and, wanting to take those steps to like help other men. He told us the story of how he was sitting in a bar with his friends, and his one friend wasn't drinking, and he asked him what was going on, and the guy just opened up right there in the bar. I mean, that's what we need men to do, is open up about your mental health. There is no shame. There may still be some stigma, but you are not weak for asking for help or trying to like fix your own mental health.
Yeah. And I love that he came on and talked about that. And I feel like this week, because then we had Richard. So we had two very strong, masculine presenting males that just talked about being vulnerable. And man, I still see Richard in that interview when I close my eyes
Yeah.
and think of that episode.
Richard, okay, loved him because he's just as foul-mouthed as I am. He's the male version of me. But I love that he, after 25 years of being an addict, he went and opened up, a center to help drug addicts and, help people become sober. And he just has such a good heart and really, really wants the best for people. And what a compassionate guy.
Yeah. Very passionate about recovery and making sure that it's available for everybody. And he, I truly believe, would give you the shirt off of his back. Like, he would make sure you had everything you needed before he had what he needed. And I admire that because I do think, at least I could never deal with addiction in the ways that he is. Like, I just don't think I'm wired that way to have that compassion and stuff. But he really was, or is, that person, like caring about just random folks on the street, wanting to help them.
Like, teaching his son lessons, somebody, a homeless person on the corner, and just wanting to help them. And it no matter, how much money they have or if they have clothes on their back, just wanting to help people feel better. And that, man, hats off to him. He's doing an amazing job.
Fearlessly too.
Fearless. Damn. Like, we could all learn something from him. And then we had Marie. And okay, I rarely get emotional on when we record. But we got to talking about, death, and we got to talking about my mom and how, I, after that episode, I actually went and wrote a letter to my mom. And, I miss my mom every day, but there's so many different stages of grief and things that, we don't really realize that is part of grief. And, how she handled the death of her husband in such an unexpected way.
Yes. My note in this book says soulmate. I remember getting goosebumps just seeing somebody who found that their soulmate. They found their soulmate in life, and having to deal with that loss in almost like a spiritual way of knowing that he was not okay and he was so far away, and telling them where to find him, and all. I remember just having goosebumps thinking holy shit, that was a soulmate connection. And you only ever, well, at least me, right? I grew up watching TV and movies and soulmates, but I've never actually spoken to somebody who I think embodies that, and that kind of love, at least. So yeah, that was a very beautiful conversation.
It was. And yes, I got a little emotional. And that what was great about that episode is that she actually asked for the video, because we rarely do the video. But I learned how to create it and give it an intro and an outro and fixed a couple of mistakes we put in there. But she was just so grateful to be on the podcast. And she had told us that she shared things on our podcast that she'd never shared on another podcast before. And so thank you, Marie. We loved you. We loved having you on.
Yeah. And then next up.
Oh my God, was Melissa. Okay, and I learned more about ayahuasca than I ever knew ever. I mean,
yes. Would you go to her retreat? I would go just if she was going to be my coach.
I would go if you were going, because we should do it together. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it together.
Melissa, sign us up.
Melissa, sign us up. Might be a crazy experience. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to feel when I get back, but it was really eye-opening about, how plant medicine can be more beneficial than, like prescription medicine, and how she was able to like heal.
Yeah. And remove that blockage, right? Like there was something there. She couldn't quite put her finger on it and get in touch with it. And for her, that experience and completely diving into that worked for her. And I do wonder, I remember asking her, does it taste gross?
Yeah. And she said it was like 3 ingredients and no, it tastes nasty.
Yeah. It doesn't taste like chocolate milk. That's for sure.
But I think if you hold your nose, you can't taste it, right?
So it doesn't take much. It does not take much for me to throw up. Like, for example, I'm not even kidding you. There is a bottle. I don't know why this is here for everybody listening. I'm in my husband's man cave, but there is a bottle of alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. Yeah. And the smell of rubbing alcohol makes me fucking gag. I don't know why, but I'm looking at the bottle and I can almost taste it and it's making me nauseous. So it doesn't take much. I'm probably going to be the one like hurling if I do ayahuasca. But I am curious because I feel like I've tapped into my trauma and I've dealt with it and I've moved past it. So like what would I discover? You know what I mean? But you might discover something that has been, trapped for years, and it's like in a steel door that you never want to open ever again. But I'd be interested to find out, like, maybe I have a repressed memory. I don't know. I probably do. But, I'm 62, going on 2 million. Yeah, I'm sure I do too, but yeah.
I think it would be fun if the two of us did it together.
We record a podcast on ayahuasca.
My wife and, Bizzle are going to get a phone call. Yeah, you need to come get these two.
Yeah.
They've been kicked out of the retreat.
What's happening? They have become one with the animals. We're just out there.
We're petting monkeys.
We have no idea if there's monkeys there, just FYI. We're just imagining.
Well, it's in Costa Rica. I think there are monkeys. Just saying. But then we had Beth and Noel. And this is a huge shout out to Noel, because Noel is the editor for our podcast. And him and his wife came on. And it's the story that gave me chills. Like, Beth has suffered her entire life. And it took everything in her power to come on and talk about it. And not just as a patient, but Noel talked about being a caregiver. And I think a lot of times people forget that there's caregiver trauma also. And that it takes a lot out of you to, be there to hold your wife up or hold your partner up when they're going through like a suicidal episode or, just wanting to die. My heart goes out to them.
Yeah, same. Man, that one I probably will think about for a very long time. Was recording that one. Not, if anything, just because I remember thinking like, wow, how would I handle that? Right? Like, how would I handle that? How would I be in his shoes? Like, how could I do that? And being very curious in terms of like, was he prepared in any way? Like something, and this kind sounds like a little, I don't think that this needs to be a thing, but I was curious if anything in his life could have possibly prepared him for that. Or was it just love, right? Like, I mean, I think that's what it boils down to at the end of it. When you love somebody so much, you'll do anything for them, including make them stay around for the next day and be around and live. And I just remember like being in complete awe that that's what it was for him. He loved her so much. He'd make sure she was here tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say is that, Beth had said something in the episode about Noel didn't deserve this, but he loved me enough to stick around to make sure I made it to the next day. And I thought, man, that is some serious love right there.
Yeah. It's like a guardian angel.
Yeah, definitely. And just two incredible humans, and they are getting the help they need. That now that they live in Australia, the mental health care is a little bit better than it was in the UK. So, baby steps, and they're making the best out of each and every day. And I loved me some Amita, but I don't have the problem that all y'all have. Okay. All my friends that are in their early 40s, she was all about perimenopause. And I know a bunch of people that are going through that right now.
Fucking hell, man. What a time to be alive. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I learned a lot from that episode. I'll tell you what.
I love everything that she's done and how she created Nourish Doc and just trying to help women because, we've all Googled our symptoms before. If you've ever Googled mental health or perimenopause, you get back 87,000 different results that aren't helpful. It's like getting medical advice from the pillow guy. Okay?
Yeah.
Listen.
But it can be different for everybody. And I like that website that you just mentioned, having resources for it's like the full circle for a woman to be able to go there and find what she needs. And I am very fortunate to be able to ask people about what was perimenopause like for you? Is this a thing? Because I just look, it helps to talk about it.
Listen, I can't answer for you because one day I had hormones, the next day I didn't. I had a complete hysterectomy, so I don't know what it was like, okay? All I know is one day I was nice, the next day I was a bitch, okay? It was like that for 6 months. But she gave us really good resources and, gave us some tips on things to ask your doctors and, just being very, very helpful. And there's a lot of women out there that are going through this right now, and it's affecting their day-to-day life and work life and, just trying to get better resources out there.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this episode first, go back and listen to Melissa. Or Amita, my bad. Amita.
And listen to Melissa.
Yeah,
and think about if you want to do ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And if you have, we totally want to hear from you.
What would ayahuasca and perimenopause be like?
Let's go find out. Okay.
Tune in next week. No, I'm just kidding.
And then we had Lee, and I loved her because she's all about journaling and, working with grief and growth. And it was very comforting to talk to her because, I just finished my draft of my book, getting ready to, do some type of Kickstarter account. But she opened up my mind to why I wrote my book. And it helped me realize journaling is a great thing. It's the greatest tool out there. And it's something you can do at work.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be Dear Diary, today I did right? I think that's what I was thinking of when I heard journaling. I'm like, fuck, I'm just happy the day is done. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to write it fucking down. I don't want to memorialize it somewhere. But journaling can be different. It doesn't have to be the Dear Diary thing that I was thinking of. I mean, when my therapist tried to get me to journal every day, and I was 90% committed, 85% committed. I mean, 74% committed. But yeah. Well,
did you get the word dear down on the paper?
Well, here's where I saw success was I would put an emoji, how I was feeling that day, happy face, sad face, mad face, and then name the emotion and try to find the why. So I learned a lot about how important sleep is for me because a bitch gets grouchy and tired and super angry and sad when I don't have enough sleep. So,
gosh, I've seen 3 sides of that. When we used to work together, I think I saw the bitchy sad part. Oh, the bitchy sad sleepy part. Yeah, I remember all of those.
I had a caffeine addiction.
Well, there's no had. We still have it. Okay? I have seen you down a couple of Red Bulls when we record on Saturdays.
Yeah, I have to go to bed at 9. If I'm not asleep by 9, there's problems.
Because you're a grandma. Oh, that's right. I forgot, because you still work like a full-time job.
Yep, and I have to sleep at 9, and I wake up at 5 a.m., and I work out. That is my schedule.
Full-time.
And then we rounded off with Emily.
What a sad story, but with a really good ending.
Yes.
I mean, I can't imagine at 19 being in an adult psych ward and people not helping you. And your family's been kind of checked out and having to figure shit out for herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What a beautiful soul, though.
She's a beautiful soul, and just wants to help make the world better. And, a huge supporter of 988, just like I am. She did a video for the 988 crisis hotline in New York City. And I think that that's just really important, and that we still talk about it, right? Because it's not going away. And she reminded the listeners that 988 is not just for suicide ideation. It's for anybody in crisis.
Yeah.
And, if you find yourself in a really horrible situation and you don't have anybody to talk to, or you don't feel like opening up to your friends or your family, call the 988 crisis hotline. They have resources available that can help you make it to that next minute, next hour, next day. They did for me. I'm alive today because of 988. So,
yeah.
And it was such a great season, and I'm looking forward to season 13. We have a lot going on. Still releasing 2 episodes a week. Still figuring out the whole fucking newsletter thing. But I get to do this with my best friend. And if there's anything in life, if you have something that you can do with your best friend and help change the world at the same time, nothing better than that.
I know. Look at us, man. Growing together, learning still.
Being smart.
Taking care of ourselves.
Smart? Yeah, learning new technology. Yep. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Just gotta reboot when it doesn't work. Shut everything down. Restart it.
Click the right link. But yeah, I really want to thank all our listeners, all our guests. It's been a fantastic season. We hit 2 million downloads. All right. I love you.
Love you too.
Hi, all. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm G-Rex.
And I'm Dirty Skittles.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. We'd love to listen to your feedback.
We can't do this without you guys.
It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.